Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Capricorn June 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, first thing up is as far as June goes, the sun will be in Gemini from the 1st until the 21st. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, attention put on work, employment, the daily routine, health, hygiene, service, and even pets. Given this is Gemini energy, it could be done with a lot of animation, vivaciousness. It could be done with a lot of joy and even versatility. Especially as far as the work and employment thing goes, and even dexterity. But remember that Gemini energy can be somewhat superficial and lack persistence. But on the positive side, there can be variety connected with this energy. This could also shine the light on some kind of Gemini on a Gemini health issue. It could be something with the breathing, the arms, the shoulders, the hands, or the fingers. So anyway, next thing up, as far as June goes, the sun will be in Cancer from the 21st until the 30th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, attention put on relationships, legalities, partnerships, open adversaries, negotiation, and compromise. And given that this is a Cancerian energy, this could be done with a lot of tenacity and sensitivity and emotion, and the partner and the thing connected with the relationships. It could be done with a lot of nurturing energy, a lot of sympathy, and this could be done also, a lot of these things that are 7th house related may be done for reasons connected with safety and security. And it could even be really doing things attending to partnership matters. If it's a business partnership, doing the things that you need to do to make sure that that partnership is secure, and you have your safety that is associated with it. So anyway, next thing up is the new moon will be in Gemini on June 13th. So for Capricorn, the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So given this is the 6th house is a Gemini, we're talking about this could be something new, a new Gemini-like employment or job or work, or something you're doing work related. It could be something like being a car salesman, starting maybe a job as a reporter, news broadcaster, something with communication such as journalism, writing, data communication, satellite communication, something new that could start as far as a Gemini-like employment thing may go. And also it could be a new period of maybe servicing others somehow through communication. In some cases, it could be a new Gemini-like health issue, such as something with the arms, the hands, the shoulders, some kind of breathing issue in some cases. And a lot of this, of course, can depend on the aspects this makes to other points in your chart. If it's, or say if it's making an inconjunct to your actual ascendant, that could be an indicator for this perhaps. Or let's say it's making some adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, even adverse aspect to your natal Jupiter, where it would be something that might bode something unlucky or something that's not fortuitous. So yeah, that could be another possibility. So anyway, next thing up is the full moon will be in Capricorn on June 28th. So the 1st house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, well, Capricorn might become tired, exasperated, full, so to speak, of an overly undemonstrative, tyrannical, ruthless, overambitious person. Maybe they know from their early childhood. It could be somebody that's just looking after their own interests and not worrying about anybody else. It could be Also, too, this could be the culmination of maybe some kind of Capricorn, in some cases physical problem, especially if this is actually hitting the first house in one's natal chart. And you probably wonder, well, how does this manifest if this is the end of something in the first house of new beginnings? Well, an example could be if a Capricorn, say for example, if you have a Capricorn related physical issue coming to a completion or culmination, and that we're talking about first house energy, well, that could actually lead perhaps to a new beginning connected with a lot of that serious, consistent, intransigent, unwavering Capricorn like energy, and a little more emotional energy connected with that because it's the moon. And also, you might be even tired at your own outlook, maybe being overly pessimistic, overly negative, and just being, and maybe just feeling really just overall very dejected, despondent about things, and really you want to try, and maybe you're just tired of this way of being and wanting to be a little bit more optimistic as far as your outlook goes. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as June goes, Mercury will be in Gemini from the 1st until the 12th. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time, well, you might be mentally assimilating a lot of work-related things at this time. There might be a lot of talk with co-workers, fellow employees about wide divergence of issues, about manifold things. Maybe this could be where you might have manifold ideas pertaining to your employment and maybe ways to be healthier at this time, and speaking with a lot of eloquence and diction regarding 6th house matters, such as servicing others, your work life, your health life, and even with people in your daily routine. And also to remember that Mercury can also be about siblings. It's not just about communication. So it could be where you might be dealing in some cases with Gemini siblings, Gemini Sun, Moon, Ascendant siblings, or ones that simply embody Gemini-like characteristics that might factor more prominently in your daily routine or even in your employment and health life, perhaps. So anyway, next thing up is Mercury will be in Cancer as far as June goes from the 12th until the 29th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, for Capricorn, there may be more emotional communications with a significant other, with open adversaries, matters connected with legalities. You might be doing a lot of contemplative thinking, really contemplating about 7th house matters, maybe about your marriage situation. In some cases, it could be maybe even a divorce. It could be over negotiations, legal matters in general. And really, at this time, too, remember that, Cancer energy could be very sensitive, and you might be more sensitive to ridicule and criticism from others in general, and especially derogatory, inflammatory remarks from open adversaries or people you might be in some legal battle with at this time. And really, a lot of your thinking might be connected with safety and security for like a business partnership. It might be for your significant other if you do have one, and maybe for others in general at this time. So anyway, and remember that Mercury can also be about siblings. So this could be a time where perhaps Cancerian siblings, ones that may actually have Cancer, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or ones that embody Cancerian characteristics, might figure more prominently in your relationships at this time, maybe helping you battle open adversaries, help assisting you in terms of legalities, perhaps, and matters connected with perhaps compromise and negotiations. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as June goes, Mercury will be in Leo from the 29th until the 30th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Capricorn, this could be a time where you might be speaking with more authority regarding matters connected with shared resources, or if you're in some kind of joint business account with somebody, and also expressing ideas loudly with a lot of Leo-like ferocity and very proudly and with a lot of conviction connected with making a major change or transformation, matters connected with insurance, with tax, even perhaps over occult, supernatural, astrology matters. Another thing too, this could be also where you might be expressing more creative thinking on 8th house matters, such as something connected with the occult, astrology, and also too, this could be the way this could manifest. Remember that Mercury again is also about siblings. So this could be a time where you might be dealing with Leo siblings, or Leo Sun, Moon, Ascendant siblings, or simply siblings that embody Leo-like characteristics that might figure more prominently, maybe helping you deal with a crisis, or might be helping you in terms of making a major change or transformation, even giving you perhaps moral, emotional support at this time. Anyway, next thing up is, as far as June goes, Venus will be in Cancer from the 1st until the 13th. So the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Capricorn, this could be a time where you might be getting monetary assistance from the home and family, perhaps in assisting you for legal matters and maybe matters connected with your significant other as well. You could be valuing more safety and security in your relationship. You might meet, if you're unattached, Capricorn, this is a time where you might connect with a Cancer Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply one that embodies Cancerian characteristics. It might be somebody in some 7th house profession, such as some kind of arbitration field or legal field, somebody that deals with negotiation, perhaps. Also, too, this is a time, too, where you might be feeling, it's a lot of sympathetic energy when you're talking about Cancerian energy, and really in showing that strong love with a lot of sympathetic and nurturing energy toward perhaps a significant other. And also, I mean, just really, really valuing introversion perhaps as well in the home life with a significant other at this time, more so than usual, and with perhaps others in general. Next thing up is, as far as June goes, Venus will be in Leo from the 13th until the 30th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Capricorn, this could be a time for Cap where he or she might be more involved with extravagant spending, connected with 8th house matters such as taxes, somebody they are in an intimate or sexual relationship with. It could be over insurance matters, perhaps. And also about the way this could manifest could be maybe valuing extroversion and gregariousness with somebody they're in an intimate relationship with at this time. Or it could be somebody from an 8th house profession, such as somebody connected with taxes or a psychologist in some cases. And really also this could be about getting enjoyment, maybe of getting some kind of notoriety and recognition for 8th house matters. If you're in psychology and that's your job, maybe something connected with that, or even with something connected with the occult, supernatural, such as astrology. Something where maybe you're valuing maybe getting some just general attention and being lauded for 8th house matters, such as even if it was just something simple like moral and emotional support. And also too, this could be a time where, if you're unattached Capricorn, that you might connect with a Leo Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or one that simply embodies Leo-like characteristics that might be in an 8th house profession, such as psychology, maybe astrology, the supernatural, the occult, somebody that deals with say, insurance could be another possibility, or somebody like in some kind of investigation, or working with criminal investigation or something. So anyway, the next thing up, Mars will be in Aquarius, so the 2nd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, This could be a time for Capricorn where he or she might be dealing with more acrimonious and contentious situations, perhaps with somebody at the place that they're generating money at. These could be also, maybe there's more arguments over possessions and resources, ones that are very unpredictable. They could be arguments with friends over them. Also about maybe getting angry at idiosyncratic or even bizarre or unusual behavior, maybe with someone that figures prominently in their resources, their monetary situation. And also, too, this could be a time where ingenuity, the expression of ingenuity and putting energy into things that are ingenious really could help with self-esteem and self-worth. Remember, though, that this is going to be retrograde in the latter part of the month, I think like from the 26th till the 30th. So this could be a time, too, where you might be going back to doing something Aquarius, like doing some work on something Aquarius related. And it could be something connected and really might be tied into making money. And it could be something Aquarius related, such as the astrology, aerospace, astronomy, computers, electronics, or innovation even. Next thing up, Jupiter will be in Scorpio still, so the 11th house as well be emphasized and highlighted, will be retrograde. Now, this could be a time for Capricorn where, I mean, as I've stated in previous videos, Jupiter can be paradoxical, it could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. And this, in some cases, can expand perhaps surreptitious, nefarious, even sneaky, manipulative behavior from friends, acquaintances, people you may know in groups, clubs, or organizations. Also, this can manifest perhaps in really luck and fortune, going beyond subterfuge and the superficial, connected with groups, with friends, with acquaintances at this time. In some cases, even stepchildren, if applicable, because the 11th house is, of course, associated with that as well. And this could also, the way this could pan out could be, since it's retrograde, you could be reviewing perhaps a profound philosophy that you have in general regarding friends, friendship. It could be matters connected with your goals and aspirations, and really maybe the general outlook in order to attain those goals and aspirations. So anyway. Well, the next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the first house will be emphasized and highlighted, will be retrograde. This could be a time for Capricorn where there might be more restrictions and limitations in connection with the physical body, and especially if this is actually hitting the first house in one's actual natal chart. This could be a time, too, where you might be going, through some kind of Capricorn debilitation. It could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, the joints, perhaps. Also, too, or you might even be taking care of somebody that maybe you knew from your early childhood with one of those problems that I just mentioned. Now, also, given its retrograde, you might be going through perhaps a review of serious responsibilities that are connected to the physical body and to making new beginnings. Perhaps at this time, there might be a little greater propensity to lose weight at this time than usual. So, this is beneficial, of course, and auspicious if that's what you're actually trying to do anyway. Saturn hitting the actual ascendant, especially if this is actually hitting the ascendant in one's chart, this could be a time where you might, where it could actually be good and beneficial. But if you're not trying to do that and you're actually trying to put on weight, obviously there would be a little bit more, might be some more difficulty in doing so at this time. You might even come across as even more despondent and more melancholy than usual at this time. And it might be a little bit restrictions connected with your actual vitality and energy level at this time, especially if this is hitting the ascendant or the sun in one's chart. This is actually making a conjunction to one's sun or to one's actual ascendant. Of course, the sun could be connected with our vitality and energy, and I see the ascendant as well associated with that. The ascendant is the physical body. If it's hitting the moon in one's chart, it's more of an emotional, it might be where, you know, your emotional energy might be a little bit drained at this time, so might be going through a little emotional letdown at this time. So anyway, the next thing up is Uranus will be in Taurus, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. So for Capricorn at this time, well, this could be a time where you might be experiencing some unusual, obstinate, stubborn behavior connected with children, someone you might be in a romantic relationship with at this time. This could also be about maybe how financial fluctuations might impact your fun, your amusement, your enjoyment. You might take up some kind of unusual hobby or means of enjoyment at this time. Doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be going bungee cord jumping or trying to do a tightrope or anything, walking on a tightrope. But this is something where you might find some unusual, unorthodox hobbies and interests that maybe many people may not even try to tackle. Now, also too, this could be a time where perhaps this could be about the formulation of a new financial plan that you haven't thought of maybe previously, and it might be tied into a romantic partner or to children perhaps. And also too, in some cases, this could be where maybe Taurus friendships, it could be Taurus, actual Taurus sun, moon, ascendant people that are friends might factor in figure more prominently in your enjoyment, your fun, your amusement in your life, or maybe people, friends that embody Taurus-like characteristics may do so as well, perhaps at this time. So anyway, next thing up is Neptune will be in Pisces, so the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time for Capricorn, this in some cases, this could be about the dissipation or dissolving, perhaps of a connection with a sibling, a neighbor you might know well, maybe even someone you knew from your early education. Some cases, these same people I described might be a little bit nebulous and unclear. They might be hard to gauge and read. One of these people might become involved in some kind of chemicals or drugs or alcohol at this time. And also, I mean, this could be a time too where you might have a little bit of difficulty being punctilious with details. There might be some difficulty in the ability to see the fine print in documents at this time. You might be more apt to communicate about your dreams, your fantasies at this time, things connected with the metaphysical, which could be astrology, things with spirituality, chemicals. Also, too, there might be really some short journeys you're taking this time that might be very convoluted and confusing. It could be a lot of weird winding roads that you're taking, and really because you're talking about some more confusing energy, it might be harder to maybe remember, you know, in certain instances, like, you know, like where you're going. Or you might be more, I should say, a little greater propensity to get lost during your short journeys at this time than usual. Your vehicles might have maybe some chemical issues. It could be something like a gas leak in your vehicle. And anyway, well, the next thing up is Pluto will be in Capricorn still, so the 1st house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, I know a lot of you don't like me to, you know, talk about this and might sound overly morose and morbid or what have you, but I mean, I'm going to talk about it anyway. In some cases, I mean, this could be the death maybe of someone maybe you knew from your early childhood. It can be an actual death to the person in question, the person, you know, for Capricorn, his or herself, a slightly greater propensity for this because Pluto is associated with that. In a lot of cases, this could really be about maybe making a major transformation to the physical body. It could be some kind of surgical procedure. It might be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, the skin, the joint. joints. And this could be a time too for some Capricorns. You might be feeling a little bit more of an urge for power and control at this time. In some cases, though, it could be more manipulative, unfortunately, but also about being more empowered in terms of starting new beginnings. This could be too where you might maybe feel some kind of rebirth or regeneration in yourself at this time, but also be careful too to avoid maybe obsessive or compulsive behavior as well. And these new beginnings, first house again, the new beginnings, it could be something maybe tied into something Pluto related, such as something with the supernatural, the occult, astrology, something where you have to go deep into things, such as something connected with investigation. So anyway, well, the next thing up is the North Node will be in Leo still, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, as I've stated previously, the North Node can be, we're talking about the North Node in transit, it could be about issues we have to confront or address. Now, in this case, it could be about confronting or addressing an arrogant, bombastic, overbearing, egotistical, even domineering, maybe sexual partner, someone you're in an intimate relationship with. This could be somebody that you're involved in some joint business account or shared resources situation with. Also about expressing, could be directed toward expressing courage and fortitude and self-assuredness in making a major transformation or maybe even dealing with a crisis situation. And also you might be directed toward having to be a little bit more extravagant, more generous, so to speak, in matters connected with taxes and insurance, 8th house matters in general, maybe in matters connected with your shared resources, being more magnanimous in connection with them, and really, and maybe even of your time in giving emotional and moral support. But also, too, this might involve in some cases, the 8th house is associated with surgery, so it can be something connected, surgical procedure you might have done, maybe something Leo-like connected with the upper back or heart at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will be in Capricorn, so the 1st house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, when you're talking about the Black Moon Lilith, this could be about perhaps a revelation of a formidable Capricorn adversary. It could be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Cap-like characteristics. It could be somebody that maybe you knew from your early childhood, somebody that might have figured prominently in your new beginnings, perhaps, in making them. Also, too, this could be a time where you might be your own worst adversary, since we're talking about the self in the 1st house. And also, too, when you're talking about the Black Moon Lilith, this could represent an unveiling or revelation of something that you didn't want out of the bag, so to speak, but yet it may come out anyway. In some cases, this could be about maybe just an overly maybe pessimistic or negative outlook you might have in yourself, or some kind of restriction or limitation connected with you personally at this time. And really, it might just be an overly negative outlook. And also, too, in some isolated cases, it could be about maybe you as a person using sexuality to attain ambitions. And also, the Black Moon Lilith can be about what can put one in a strong state of trepidation or fear. And it could just simply be about relinquishing your own authority over what you can do. Basically, or maybe in some matter connected with someone you know, knew from your early childhood. So anyway, well, last but not least, Chiron will be in Aries, and the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time, well, this could be a time for Capricorn. We're talking about Chiron being about emotional wounds and suffering. This could be over in some cases contentious, maybe even sometimes combative situations on the home front. Maybe someone you feel close to home with. It could be maybe taking lack of initiative and enterprise, maybe in really establishing some kind of foundations for yourself. maybe in dealing with matters connected with the home. The family maybe not taking on more of a leadership role that you felt maybe you needed to. This could be as well maybe lack of initiative and enterprise in making the moves that will make you better prepared for the end part of your life, that latter part of the life period. Remember that you're talking about when Chiron and Aries can be about issues connected with maybe your identity and your lack of worthiness. And it could be that maybe you might not feel like maybe there's some unworthiness in connection with being an actual family member to your family in general. Meaning in some cases it could feel like the outcast syndrome, so to speak, but I refer to it as that anyway. And it also could be maybe establishing maybe an identity crisis at who you actually are at the core, and really trying and having difficulty understanding that, and really not understanding yourself as far as identity goes connected with who you are at the core. And also family members might be somewhat of a figurative headache at this time, but anyway, remember that Chiron is the wounded healer, so in the ways that you may be having difficulty with and going through some emotional wounds and suffering connected with this Chiron and Aries energy and the fourth house, you could actually help others out dealing with comparable situations, and do so with a lot of that Aries like courage, fortitude, enterprise, initiative, and assertiveness. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Capricorn June 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Aquarius June 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.